Hello everybody and welcome to my YouTube channel. Today I'm going to be talking again about runway makeup looks. Today we're going to be dissecting the makeup looks from the fall winter 2019 fashion week, and this segment is going to be specifically for the New York shows. I want to do like different installments for London Fashion Week, Paris Fashion Week, and Milan Fashion Week, and today I'm going to be focusing on New York Fashion Week. So anyway, let's just get into it. There's so many looks I want to show you guys, and let's start off with this first look right here. This is from the show Anna Sue. I believe that's how you pronounce it. You probably will hear me say that a lot in this video, but this is from Anna Sue, and she basically had like this beautiful makeup look at her show and beautiful hair as well. But for my sanity, we're going to focus on the makeup. The makeup was done by Pat McGrath, and she honestly like did this like wonderful job. She basically like did this like very metallic, very grungy kind of theme. She did a lot of like beautiful lines, and she used like this black liner to create this like cat eye, and then she also like did this like very graphic sweep of like colored pigment into the crease as well. I think that Pat McGrath manages to really just like make kind of like grungy and punk looks look so beautiful and colorful with her artistry and her eye for design. And naturally, like the rest of the skin was quite like glowy, quite fresh, and then the lips looked very minimal. So the main event in this case was like the beautiful like this graphic eye, which I absolutely love. So next I want to talk about the fashion show from Says Marjan. I believe that's how you pronounce this. Of course, I am not very well versed in all these like pronunciations, so please forgive me if I'm like butchering any of these names. But the makeup look for this show was done by Thomas D. Clouvier. I don't know how to pronounce his name either. I haven't really heard of him, but I really do like this makeup look, particularly because it was inspired from the early 2000s. And I kind of like think that now we're sort of looking back on that period with a little bit of a sense of nostalgia and fondness, I would say, because I feel like for a while the idea of something being like early 2000s was kind of met with a little bit of negativity. But now what's really interesting is that with the rise of colorful makeup, I feel like we're looking at that period and we're really taking inspiration from that. And that was particularly done with the models within this show. They were really just made up to look like very just beautiful, very like colorful in that way. And I actually have a quote from the makeup artist, and he said, basically the makeup is kind of inspired by a teenage girl in the late 90s, early 2000s, sitting in her bathroom and playing around with colors. You know when you used to buy a palette of colors and it's all these weird shimmery blues and greens? So she's got 7 different colors of eyeshadow and we're doing all the makeup with our fingers. I absolutely love that. I feel like the look came together in a really nice way. It's very nonchalant, very effortless, but still kind of like rebellious in the sense that it's not perfect and yet it's still just very compelling at the same time. So next I want to talk about the makeup that was done at the show for Jeremy Scott. And Jeremy Scott, if you don't know him, he's a very like just vibrant and just vivid designer. I feel like everything he does is just so out of the box and so weird, and his makeup, like the makeup at his shows, is a reflection of that in a wonderful way. And for this show, he had the makeup artist Kabuki do this like really just like really dark, punkish, like really just dramatic eyeshadow that I really did end up liking. I feel like the whole aesthetic with the hair and then the makeup and then like the clothes, it reminds me a little bit of Cruella de Vil, you know? Cruella de Vil really is awful when it comes to pretty much every single definition of a villain, but you have to like, I mean, I have to admit that her style is one of my favorite. I mean, like I would like to replicate that, but with fake fur, of course, but like her style and her aesthetic is kind of like just interesting to me, and for some reason I feel like that's reflected in this show, particularly in the makeup. Next we're going to be talking about the fashion show for Chromat. Now the whole like aesthetic of this collection is, I believe, inspired by South Florida like vibes, the style, the colors, all of that, and I really do like how so many of the models in this show really reflected the sense of like reality, I would say. I'm not going to sit here and say that traditionally slender models are not real life, because I feel like every single body type has somebody who is occupying that particular body type and who looks a certain way, if that makes any sense. But it's really nice to see like just brands sort of stepping forward and embracing not just one particular type of look, but so many other different looks and styles. And I feel like it's just so wonderful seeing that. So, the makeup for this show was created by Fatima Thomas. Now, I absolutely love the colorful nature of it. I really do find myself just like attracted and really just into this makeup. I really do love bright colors, and this definitely embodies that beautifully. Next, let's talk about 3.1 Phillip Lim. Now, the makeup artist for Phillip Lim was Diane Kendal, and she used this liner product called Unframed Beauty. So basically what she did is that she took that product and she lined the crease with it, but she had like a break in the middle, so that's why you see like this like a little bit of like a gap. And then she also basically like lined a little bit of the bottom lash with a purple liner. And it's kind of interesting because I feel like Phillip Lim is known, whenever you look at his clothes, his collections basically embody very clean lines, very clean cuts. But what's interesting is that instead of doing like a very natural, very just, I would say, predictable makeup look, he's taking it a step further and using the makeup to sort of reflect his collection, but not to overshadow it. I really do like this makeup. It's not like my style, because you guys know that I love excess and I love doing like whatever I can to make the makeup look even more vibrant, to make it look even more fun. But I feel like this is like an interesting take on minimal makeup that we haven't really seen much of before. Then we have Proenza Schuler, and the makeup artist for this look was Dick Page, and I honestly love the variations that a lot of these makeup artists will come up with when they do black eye looks, because here you have like this really interesting sort of like a naked eye look, but then you have like this addition of like this black eyeshadow product kind of in the crease, but it's very graphic in the sense that you have plenty of negative space, and in a way this frames the model's eyes even more, and it really makes like the model's eyes pop in a sense. So I really do like this look. It's kind of unusual, kind of interesting. I actually do have a quote from the makeup artist. "We played around a bit and ended up with two versions of paint on their eye. One is a thick stroke black cream shadow across the eye with a thick brush, and some versions have a little sketch underneath as well. Everything else is real and pure." I really like that. I feel like this is taking like minimalism when it comes to makeup and kind of turning it on its head and making it a little bit more unusual and a little bit avant-garde, if you will. I, for one, really do like this look a lot. Then I have to talk about Kalina Strada. Now, this is a designer that I haven't really heard much about, but the makeup artist is Yuka Ishizuka, and they were going for like this tie-dye effect with the eye makeup, and that was created using a variety of really pastel tones. You have like that yellow, that turquoise, and then that pink, and it just looks like they basically just splattered the model's like eyelids with this like paint-like substance, and it looks so cool, so interesting, effortlessly avant-garde, very artistic. I really do like it. And then the skin and the lips are of course very natural, very glowy, and kind of bare looking. So this is a really cool look that I really did like as well. I also really want to talk about Christian Siriano, and the makeup artist for this show was Erin Parsons, and they basically took like these gems and then kind of like just applied them all over the face. I usually do not go for this type of look myself, but I honestly really like this. I feel like this is interesting, it's fun, and it creates a really interesting makeup look. making it look a little bit more unusual, a little bit more fun, out of the box, out of the ordinary, not your everyday supernatural look. This is actually one of my favorite makeup artists for this show, called Eckhouse Lata. I believe I've like mentioned this fashion house, if you will, on my channel quite a few times in these runway videos. But this was a show that was done by one of my favorite makeup artists, and I believe her name is Ismaya French, and she basically created like this beautiful, like artistic watercolor effect on the models. And I'm not sure if you have seen her Instagram or anything like that. I've mentioned her a few times on this channel, but she does very avant-garde, very out of the box, very art-like makeup looks. I'm not sure what she used. I was trying to look into it, and I don't believe I was able to find like what medium she used to create this. I would think that she used maybe a pigment or something to create like this watercolor effect, but I'm not certain. But I absolutely love how this look turned out. So those are the makeup looks that I want to talk about for this installment of my runway makeup looks series. I don't really know like what I can call this. I feel like I just call this like runway makeup looks from like a certain season, and then I just go with it. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you found it fun and interesting, and I will see you in tomorrow's video. Bye guys.